Right, if you follow my videos, you know that I've already put one of the sides of the suspension all together at the front. But I thought I'd just quickly do this video just to show what you need to do. So the bits we're going to put on today are the upper and lower control arms, the suspension strut, which is the damper and the spring, and all the various sort of mounts at the top here. This is the, I forgot what you call it, but it's what the bottom of the damper goes into. That's one of the securing braces. This is the knuckle that the hub and ultimately the wheels sit on. And that's, I think they're tow hooks, they go at the front. There's one either side. So let's crack on and just get those on the car. You can see the order that you need to put them in. And hopefully that'll make it a bit clearer for other people that are trying to do the same journey. I certainly struggle to find this information out. Okay, so starting off with the suspension strut, I'm going to just basically push it through the mount at the top of the wheel arch and then just pop some nuts on just to stop it dropping back down. It is a bit fiddly. I'll try and do it with you without getting in the way of the camera too much, but it's not straightforward. It's straightforward to put it through, but it's actually hard to get the nuts on when you're on your own. Let's see if I can quickly get one. Okay, so there's one nut on. I'll put a couple more in just to hold up. Okay, so with that in place, we're now going to do the upper control arm. So this has, let's get around the right side, two nuts on it, take the two nuts off. And it has one washer. Only one washer. That washer stays on the back side, so towards the back of the car. This, I'm going to feed through like that, if I can get it just to go. And then poke it through the two holes in the engine bay wall. A little bit of playing around with. 1, 2. So that pops through like that. Now it's oriented so that the short side is towards the back of the car. The long angled piece goes towards the front. That's really important. That will get you around the right way. And then pop the washer and the two nuts back on the inside. Right, the next piece is the lower control arm. For the lower control arm we need, it's a bit of a sandwich that goes on. So we need the tow hook with the lower control arm bolted to the front. And then we do the back of the lower control arm mounted through the engine cross member, which is just here, and up into the bottom of the suspension chassis leg. Now it's important to get the lower control arm around the right way, and the way to tell is, let's try and show you, but when these two, when this mount is horizontal, the actual arm itself should curve down. I hope you can see that. It sort of slopes downwards. And that's the correct way round, which means when you mount it on the car, it'll be sloping down to the road. And it pops on there like that. And that allows the bottom of the shock absorber to sort of slot into the mounting, which is this. So let's try and get that on. First I'm going to do the front. Maybe we'll pop one in the back first actually. Let's pop one in here because I have everything in place for it. This goes around so that the bolt is facing into the engine bay. I think that goes onto the suspension, the engine damper, the little suspension or damper thing that goes on there. Right, so this might be tricky because I've got to put I've got the engine cross member already mounted, so I need to take the two bolts out. So I'm going to quickly put the jack underneath it just to hold it all up, and then I can whip the bolts out, put this in, put the bolts back in. Okay, so with the engine cross member held up by the jack, I can just undo these bolts, hopefully, 1 and 2. And these have already got a lot of copper grease on them, so they're just going to go straight back in. Lift this up. Slightly in the way. Let's get one bolt in, that'll just hold it up, and I can then worry about aligning everything. There's one. Right, number 2. Okay, so they've started now. So what we need to do here is get the bolts in the front. Nip them up a little bit tighter. Okay. I don't want to let it go and damage the rubber mount or rubber bushing that's on the lower control arm. Right, so on this side then we just pop the arm up like that with this and push a bolt through. So let's just try and get one started and then we can pull everything into place. Alright, it's about there. Nope, nearly. Another pair of hands to be handy now. Started. We'll do the one on the other side as well. Just hold it out the way. Right, okay. So now we're getting a bit closer. That will just tuck in there. Let's go now get a socket set and just nip them up a little bit so they don't come loose. Back around this side and we're in this position. So we have the upper and lower control arm in and the suspension strut. Obviously nothing done up tight. Now what we're going to do is put the mounting that goes on here that the bottom of the suspension strut goes into. So the mounting looks like this, and if you look it leans away towards the back of the car. So when you put it on it should be the thicker end is towards the back of the car. Drop that in place now. Right, so I've actually removed the bolts from the back of the lower control arm just to make it a little bit easier to get this mounting in. So the first thing you're going to notice is that the mounting doesn't line up with the shock absorber. If you didn't mark it when you took it all apart, that's quite normal. These are brand new shocks to me, so I couldn't have marked it up. So all we need to do to get out of that is rotate it. Now you can do it with a screwdriver, like I've just done. Mine clearly wasn't too far off. And it needs a fraction more. This side, when I rotate it, it actually will be fine because the spring at the top will push into its securing and not slip. So the thing that I'm looking to change is this mounting here for it to twist a little bit. On the other side, when you do it, you unwind the spring effectively and it comes out of its mounting. So I'm just going to turn it a fraction. That's possibly enough, a little tiny bit more. So I'm just going to tap that round. I'll put a bit of tension on it and then just tap this around a little bit. I'm pretty happy with how that fits now. So I'm going to pop the bolts back in the bottom of the control arm. Right, then the next bits to pop on are the lower control arm ball joint, which is there with the two eccentric cams, and the knuckle, which goes between the two ball joints. Now the lower ball joint's really straightforward to get on. Literally just put it on like that. Put the cams in place. Just rotate to find where it fits like that. And pop a nut on. Make sure I've got it around the right way. Number 1. And number 2. Get that started. Right. It drops into place and we're good. There we go. Right. Let's grind the nut up and we're good to go. There. Then the knuckle should very happily just fit between these two. Let's just take the nuts off. Like that. There's the knuckle, all neatly powder coated. Should just fit. There we go. Nuts back on. Again, I'm doing everything finger tight, just not even that in many situations, just to get it assembled, to show you how it goes together. And there we go. I mean, that's how it works. One of the last jobs we need to do now is connect up the track rods to the steering rack. Right, so we just screw the track rod in. I guess this is probably the track rod ball joint. And I personally believe that I should have a lock nut on here. I'm just putting it in now so I can kind of show that it's all assembled. And that will define, well, that will help just sort of lock it in place, but also the, I don't know how far to wind in. That's all part of the suspension setup we'll have to do later. But for now, let's just get this popped together so I can show you. And this pops on there. Really, it's more just to show how it all assembles. Oops. Right, so with that in place, the only thing I'm lacking now is a bolt through the drop link into the anti-roll bar, which I'll do in a second. But that's basically how you assemble it all. Right, that's all for this video. Hopefully it's been useful. I wanted just to put that together to clear up how you assemble the front suspension. It's taken me a long time, a lot of discussions, a lot of grubbing around, trying to work out the order of things and exactly where things should sit. So that's why I put this video together. As ever, thanks for watching. Please click like, subscribe, leave me comments if there's any questions or any comments about how I've done it. I know I've not tightened anything up yet. It's all just sort of popped on just to show positions. Anyway, so thanks again, and I'll see you next time.